Hi, welcome back to our second podcast in the series, What Fuels You? I'm Dr. Rosemary McCormick DePasque, and just to reacquaint you with who I am, I was born and raised in Island, New Jersey. I received a Bachelor of Science from Cook College at Rutgers University, New Brunswick. I received my Doctor of Chiropractic degree from Sherman College in Spartanburg, South Carolina. I've been in practice 30 years this year. I am a certified trainer and leader level for TLC, that is Team and Life Conditioning, in Willow Grove, Pennsylvania. And I am currently an instructor of clinical sciences at Sherman College. So I'm both a coach for TLC, and I'm also being coached by TLC, and I'm being challenged again by my great coach and leader, Dr. Jen DePasque, to complete this series on What Fuels You. So the first episode of What Fuels You last time was all about journaling. And this one is going to focus more on de-stressing. I think we have to back up a step and really take a look at what's going on in our nation and around our world right now. And I think that before we can take a step further about what fuels us, I think we got to take a step backward and think about what is stressing us and how can we de-stress. So I gathered some quotes from some very interesting people in history, and let's start with Eckhart Tolle. Okay, Eckhart Tolle said, "Stress is caused by wanting to be here." Now, let me back up a step. Stress is caused by being here, but wanting to be there. That's pretty interesting. It's pretty profound. It's very simple and yet very profound. Stress is caused by being here, but wanting to be there. So, a desire for wanting things to be different. Obviously, we all want things to be different right now, right? Here's another one by Hans Selye. "It's not stress that kills us. It's our reaction to it." So there is a suggestion from history that, we can be an observer more so of what's going on around us and take a step back and think about how we want to react to what's going on all about us, right? And then we've got Wayne Dyer, and Wayne Dyer said, "You cannot always control what goes on outside, but you can always control what goes on inside." Meaning our thought life, right? We can't always control what's going on inside our body, but we can control what's going on inside our thought life. And that's relative to my quote by Dr. Dean DePasque last time, and that was, we can't always change our feelings, but we can change our focus. So this second podcast in this series, What Fuels You, is going to go a little deeper into changing that focus. So again, Eckhart Tolle's suggestion, maybe not so much concerning ourselves about wanting to be there. Again, that's changing our focus. And Hans Selye, it's not the stress that kills us, our reaction to it. Right, so changing our focus again. And then Wayne Dyer talking about how we can control what's on the inside. So it's really, really, really all about changing our focus. So I did some research on the Harvard Health, it's a site called Harvard Health Publishing, and it was all about reducing stress, and they were talking about easy ways to de-stress, right? So our first step in de-stressing is really to take a look at what are we doing in the way of our bad behaviors. And I've been talking to a lot of people who've been talking about how their bad behaviors or their vices are actually increasing as a result of being stuck in the house. So are we increasing in smoking? Are we increasing in drinking? Are we increasing in our heart-damaging behaviors? So that was the first thing that came out of that Harvard Health Publishing site. We need to take a look at those heart-damaging behaviors, and maybe it's time to consider backing down off of some of those. So eliminating bad behaviors, and then the opposite to that is actually to consider adding more de-stressing behaviors. And I talked a lot about cups of tea. I've been drinking tea like it's going out of style. And I love them all. I love chamomile at bedtime. It helps you sleep. I love lemon tea, cinnamon tea, rooibos tea, any kind of hibiscus tea, ginger teas. They're great. I love those decaffeinated, or especially the uncaffeinated ones, the teas that were never caffeinated to begin with. The suggestions off the site are such things as a warm bath or shower. And we know that Epsom salts are great for sore muscles. So if you have sore muscles, why not take a bath and not only reduce the sore muscles, but also de-stress at the same time. You can play your favorite kind of music to de-stress. You can start employing those favorite hobbies of yours. How about picking up an old crossword book? How about Sudoku? I've never been very good at that. I hate math. I really admire people who can do Sudoku. It's not my cup of tea, so to speak. I love the crosswords. Reading, writing. We talked about journaling again last time. Journaling is a great de-stressor. How about taking up something like painting? Maybe you've always wanted to and you never had the time. So now you find that you have the time. No time like the present to take up a new wonderful hobby like that. Great YouTube videos out there for learning how to paint. And reach out to a friend. You can do that via phone. You can do that via FaceTime nowadays. You can Zoom into a group of friends. I think we talked about that last time too. You can write a letter or a card. How rare is that nowadays? Wouldn't you just love to receive a letter or a card from an old friend right now? So be the change you wish to see in the world, said Gandhi. And write that letter or that card to that friend that you've been meaning to write, and then maybe the universe will respond in kind and you'll be getting one before long. And then, I just encouraged you to plug into things like such as your phone and your laptop computer, but how about taking a few minutes each day to make sure that you unplug from screen time, right? So limiting the time, we don't have to be constantly checking our emails or the news or our phones and that sort of thing. Definitely make time to unplug, okay? Let's talk about exercise for a minute. Exercise reduces, here's how, I wanted to look this up. What is the exact mechanism that exercise reduces stress? And I found that it reduces our stress hormones. It reduces particularly adrenaline and cortisol, and it increases endorphins. So endorphins are natural painkillers and mood elevators. So again, exercise itself is doing what we're talking about doing on this call, eliminating the negative and increasing the positive. Okay? So if we can eliminate those negative behaviors and increase those positive behaviors, we're doing a really good job at balancing and reducing our stress. Exercise does just that by reducing the adrenaline and the cortisol, the stress hormones, and increasing the endorphins, which are both painkillers and mood elevators. It's doing just that. So if you haven't made time for exercise, this is a great time to do that, right? We've run out of that excuse that says, I don't have any time. We've run out of that excuse. We're probably not even allowed to say that excuse anymore, unless we're one of those very, very, very essential healthcare providers right now who are working around the clock. And by the way, thank you to those. My daughter is one of them. She is a nurse on COVID floors in Pennsylvania, and I'm very, very grateful to her and nurses all around the country and all around the world, and doctors, phlebotomists, and et cetera, et cetera. Very grateful to those. And healthcare providers of all kinds, including chiropractors that have been considered essential. Thank you to the governors of the states in the United States for allowing chiropractors to be considered to be essential healthcare providers. We're greatly appreciative that you have taken the time to read the research and understand it's 2020, and it's time to understand that there is plenty of research to support that chiropractic is essential to life. Thank you. let's get back to what we can do to reduce our stress. So prayer is another thing that has been shown to increase hopefulness and gratitude for people. And in doing that, it also reduces our stress hormones, namely adrenaline and cortisol, and increases our endorphins, which we said are those natural painkillers and natural mood elevators. So prayer does that. And I wanted to just give a shout out to my church, which is Unity Church of Greenville, and Reverends James and Leah King. They have been a fantastic influence in my life, and I've been a Unity fan for more than 30 years, but I'm very, very grateful to have found a new home at Unity of Greenville. And Reverend David actually gave the sermon this past Sunday, and he was talking about how prior to this coronavirus pandemic, that 85% of churches were declining in numbers. And now that we are amidst this pandemic, 49% of churches are increasing in parishioners. And I think that's a positive, you know. So we know that prayer is something that's helpful for people, both physically and mentally, and reducing our stress. And so I'm very grateful for that statistic that got thrown out there. And he also threw in a number of other happy statistics and positive things that are happening in the world, and one of them being that the ozone layer is healing. I was happy to learn that. I don't have any research on that right now, so I'm taking Reverend David Torres's word for that. But that sounds like a good thing, that our planet is healing right now. Let's talk about meditation. Meditation, I believe, does the same thing as exercise and prayer in reducing those stress hormones and increasing our endorphins, the painkillers and mood elevators. So meditation has been said to decrease anxiety, decrease chronic pain, decrease depression, heart disease, and suicidal tendencies. I think that's really, really huge. So if meditation is not part of our de-stressing regimen, maybe that's something too that we can add to our routine. Again, great videos on YouTube, etc., available to us on how to get started with meditation. Great books out there that can help us to get started with meditation, or pick up that wonderful old habit of meditation. What about nature? You know, if you're still permitted to walk about your community, and you're still permitted to take a walk in nature, albeit with a mask or without. Emerson, there's an interesting quote by Emerson. He was such a big fan of being in nature, and many, many quotes by him, but this was one that I found. In the woods, we return to reason and faith. There I find that nothing can befall me in life which nature cannot repair. It's a really, really sweet quote. I'll read it to you again. In the woods, we return to reason and faith. There, I feel that nothing can befall me in life which nature cannot repair. I kind of get that same sense, and I never could have said that as eloquently, and I don't know if you ever had that same sense that when you're in nature, everything just seems to, you know, the petty things in life just seem to fall away, and the important things seem to come to the forefront. And that's probably has everything to do with nature being able to repair, as he so beautifully stated. And when we keep a positive attitude, remember these are all suggestions from the Harvard Health Publishing site, staying positive is included on that. Right? So what does that mean, staying positive? Again, I think that comes back to focus. What are we focusing on? We can focus on these simple pleasures like taking a walk, you know, appreciating sunshine, being with our pets, changing our focus on anything, like just getting dressed up a little bit today. Kind of changed my attitude, lifted my attitude, putting on some jewelry, putting on makeup. it was something that really caused me to change my focus and change my attitude. I started to get a negative attitude about something, and I just decided I was going to snap myself out of it. I curled my hair a little bit. So it really can make a difference. And I have spoken to you before, chiropractic is my profession, and I'm in love with my profession. I've been in love with my profession since I got my first adjustment at age 13. My husband, the same. He got adjusted at age 13 for the first time. And, if you think about it, let's talk about it very simply, taking that hard bone off of that soft nerve. What are you doing? You've heard the expression, that person gets on my nerves, or this situation gets on my nerves. Well, that could be something quite literal. You have hard bone on soft nerve. So take hard bone off of soft nerve. What are you doing? Well, you're de-stressing your nerves. Well, you can take that very literally. So in the last segment, I was talking about how chiropractic boosts immunity. That has been proven several times over, where we take the blood before adjustment, we give the person an adjustment, and then afterwards we examine the blood, and it is determined that the T cells go up, and they go up as much as 4 times, or T cells increase as much as 4 times. Well, in this particular segment, what we're talking about is helping our nervous system go from sympathetic to parasympathetic. We're talking about that sympathetic, everyone's familiar with fight or flight, right? So we're able to help people's nervous systems go from that state of fight or flight to a state of relaxation with adjustment. So there's many, many, many health benefits of chiropractic. It's been around since, 1895. So, it wasn't just born yesterday. And hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people have benefited from chiropractic since its inception, and there's a lot to explore. When you start digging into the history of chiropractic, you realize that there's a lot of health benefit with chiropractic. I'll get into more of that in subsequent episodes of this podcast. But I want to keep moving about changing focus, right? I want to keep moving. One way that we can change our focus is to stop thinking so much in the present and worrying. And by the way, we know that 99% of the things that we worry about don't come to fruition. We talked about that last time too. But another way to change your focus from the present is to start to dream about your future. Again, one of the benefits of journaling, but also one of the benefits of creating a storyboard or a vision board. So creating a storyboard or a vision board is something that helps us to explore our creativity. It helps us to visualize changing our life. It motivates, it inspires, it helps us to express our feelings. It helps us simply to strive for a better life. So we can achieve success in any area of our life, but it's all got to start with a plan. It's got to start somewhere. So you might as well plan it. You can plan it by journaling it, and then you can start to get it in physical form. And the best way to get it into physical form is to put it up on a wall. You can cut things out of magazines, you can print stuff online and put it up onto a wall. But it should be something extremely appealing to your eyes. What is appealing to our retinas, and our retinas love color, is appealing to our brain and to our whole psyche. Okay, remember the eyeball, the back of the eye, the eyeball is part of the brain. So if we can stimulate the retina, we're actually stimulating the brain, stimulating the mind. Okay, so we talked about those 7 categories of journaling last time: spiritual, intellectual, emotional, social, physical, family, financial, and professional. And these are areas that we should go definitely with our storyboard. So if we're going to, for example, dream about the future with our spirituality, well, is there a religious text that you've always wanted to study? For example, the Bible. Is there a religious text that you have always wanted to teach or lead people in? Maybe you aspire to be a spiritual leader. Maybe you aspire to take a pilgrimage to some sort of holy land. So put that on your bucket list and put it up on your storyboard. How about intellectual? Well, those are things that we hope to learn. So if you always hope to learn how to cook, how to study a certain language, increasing your vocal capabilities by taking voice lessons, taking an instrument, some form of professional study, put that on your bucket list. Put it up on your storyboard wall. How about emotional social? Are you someone who hopes to always, on a very regular basis, host gatherings for your friends, your neighbors, your family, or maybe take family members on vacation with you? Maybe increase the number of vacations you want to take per year. Maybe not just one, but 2, maybe 3, maybe 4 vacations a year. Why not start dreaming about it? Dream about it first and then make it so. How about physical? Do we want to lose weight? Do we want to gain weight? Do we want to build muscle? Do we want to always dress in dress clothes? Do we want to get a certain tattoo or have a certain kind of hairstyle? How do we want people to perceive our physical appearance in the future? Okay, that's what we're dreaming about. How about the family of your dreams? What does your ideal life partner look like, sound like? What are they like? What characteristics do they have? Dream up that ideal life partner if you're already not somebody who has a significant other. Do you hope to have kids? Do you hope to have furry children in that you hope to only have pets? It's all up to you. What does your ideal family look like? What are your financial goals? You know, what is the debt payoff for you? How much and when? You got to start somewhere. Start dreaming it up and then living it out. What are those future purchases that you hope to have? Your ideal home, your ideal automobiles. Do you want to own a yacht? I hope you do, and I hope you get that. Professional, what is your field of study? Do you hope to teach? Do you hope to lead? Do you hope to have associates someday? I hope you do. I hope that you are someone who hopes to lead a team of people, take awesome team vacations, to spin off younger, more energetic versions of yourself someday, to mentor others. So I want to close now with a couple of awesome quotes. And you might think these two people that I chose to quote are the farthest thing apart from each other, but it doesn't really matter, because wisdom is wisdom, and it doesn't really matter who says the wisdom. It's wise if it's wise. It's simply that. So I'm starting with a quote by Ziggy Marley. Doing something that is productive is a great way to alleviate emotional stress. Get your mind doing something productive. Simply stated, get your mind doing something productive, such as a storyboard wall, right? And then let's talk about Lee Iacocca, the visionary and CEO of the Big Three automobile makers. In times of great stress or adversity, it is always best to keep busy, to plow your anger and your energy into something positive. And right now I can't think of any better way for me to help you than by doing this podcast. This is how I'm plowing my energy into something positive. By encouraging you, I'm hoping to inspire and provoke you to do something great for your life, to de-stress, to eliminate your ill health habits and increase your positive health habits, to journal and to plan an awesome life. Everything begins with a plan. So I hope that I've done just that. And in the next couple of podcasts, I hope to be interviewing people who also have some great suggestions to help you with what fuels you. Have a blessed day.